You're listening to BK Presents on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Hello, everyone. My name is BK, International Talent Scout. I'm bringing a brand new show to you called BK Presents. 30 minutes, nonstop, your favorite in gospel music. Studio sessions, going deep into interviews with your favorite artists, producers, and their engineers. You and your music. Concert previews and concert reviews. Get it all on bkpresents.com. Hello, everybody. This is BK, International Talent Scout, host of BK Presents Radio Podcast, aired on Rainier Avenue Radio World, your community radio station. We got a special show today. Today, I got a guest. His name is E Pruitt. He's a smooth jazz artist. He's a bassist. I met him a couple of years ago going through the SeaTac International Airport on my way to the Stellar Awards in Las Vegas. I hear music. I'm getting excited. Then I turn around and I see a brother playing the bass in the SeaTac International Airport. Let me introduce you to E Pruitt, and we're going to get started with the interview. E Pruitt, tell us about yourself and tell us about playing at the airport.
Oh, man, thank you so very much for having me here. I am a smooth jazz artist. Obviously, I do a lot of solo stuff, but I have a full band that I play with as well. I play 7-string bass. So what you were hearing basically was I write my tracks and have my backing tracks all together on a iPad. And then I just play the melody and such on the top of it. And there's some other ones that I do that are cover tunes. I do some Janet Jackson, some Michael Jackson, some different groups that I just play the melody of it. So I'm mainly working as a solo artist. Now the airport situation, there's a company called Gigs for You in town.
Oh, wow.
And Gigs for You basically books different acts and artists all around the city. They have artists down at the pier. They have artists at different engagements, like at some of the big corporate events and things like that. So they have music all over town, and SeaTac just happens to be one of the spots that they have.
SeaTac is the coolest place to see a micro concert right before you got to get on the plane. What kind of reactions do you get from people traveling through SeaTac when they first hear you and then they see you?
That is something that's pretty spectacular, because I tell friends, I tell them it's like being on tour without being on tour. Because you got people from all over the world just going all through the airport at the time. And as a matter of fact, I did one today, and this lady picked up one of my CD cards, and she's from Australia.
Oh, there you go.
So there you go. SeaTac has 3 different spots where they have music. There's one area called North, Central, and then there's one called the C Concourse. The C Concourse one is right outside Sub Pop. Central is right in the big cafeteria hub, basically.
Right.
And North is the one that's basically for people who are going out, flying out of Seattle. But it's really cool because again, you see so many different people, you meet so many different people, and I've met quite a few celebrities coming through that have stopped and listened to me for a little bit. Mike Epps stopped by.
What? Mike Epps?
Mike Epps stopped by. I think it was maybe about 3-4 months ago. I was playing there, and he stopped off and listened to me for a little bit, and we talked for a little while, and he's a cool cat.
So the celebrities that see you become your celebrities.
it's a give and take. It's a give and take. It works out nice.
Okay, we got to take it back. This is a 30-minute interview so we can find out all about you. Let's take it all the way back. How did you start learning how to play bass, and did you play bass in junior and senior high school?
I started playing bass October 15th, 1977. I know that exactly because I still have the receipt from when my parents took me and my father took me and bought my very, very first bass. So I still have that receipt. Now, I didn't even know that the receipt was still around. But when my mom passed away in 2009, going through the paperwork and stuff like that, here it is, the receipt. And right now I have it framed and it's in my home studio. I started playing mainly because in the neighborhood that I grew up in Kansas City, there was a lot of kids getting in trouble and things like that. And what I needed to do was find some kind of an outlet to keep myself from getting, pulled into that kind of lifestyle. So my parents were they weren't musical themselves, but there was music everywhere. And I still have original B.B. King 45s, original Mahalia Jackson, original Chubby Checker, original Booker T and the MGs. I still have the original 45s and things like that they would play all the time. Because my parents would have people over on the weekends quite a bit. And
you were the star.
I wasn't the star, but I was listening. I was paying attention.
Now let's get into the education piece. Did you learn how to read charts, or did you learn to play the bass by ear?
My very first lesson came from one of B.B. King's former bass players. My dad was one of those kind of guys that, I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy type deal. And he told me that he knew somebody that would give me some lessons. And we went over to this guy's house, and he used to play with B.B. King. So at first I just learned everything by ear. The very first song I ever really learned was Green Onions by Booker T and the MGs. And then I started taking music lessons in school just once a week. But then my parents saw that I was really into it. So then I started taking lessons from a small mom and pop store called Brady and Sons Music on Saturdays. And then on Sundays, I would go and take lessons at the Charlie Parker Institute.
The Charlie Parker Institute. Is that where you started reading charts and notes?
Yes. Charlie Parker School for the Performing Arts is what it was called. It's not there anymore. In Kansas City, Missouri. They taught everything. They taught reading. They taught theory. They taught everything there was to know about music, and Charlie Parker. So of course they're going to go pretty deep into the music and the background and understanding how it all works and how it all works together. Now, I have to say, it did take me a minute to understand a couple things because I was thrust into it, but I didn't have any background as to what it was I was thrust into. At one point, it was almost like having a puzzle, but not knowing what that puzzle was supposed to look like.
Oh, wow.
Like,
and you were just putting the pieces together.
It started to make sense to me. But then what ended up happening was it made it easier for me to be able to teach, because at that point I was able to break things down a little bit easier for people, for my students and such now.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. Now tell me about, so there are people listening to this show, they know about music. So how are you able to switch from playing by ear and reading the charts?
They almost go hand in hand. Basically, you understand, when you start to understand your instrument, you start to hear what it's supposed to sound like, what notes are supposed to sound like, what this phrase is supposed to sound like and such. But then when you start seeing it written out, then you can see a physical version of what it actually is that you're looking at. I had a student in Kansas City when I was teaching there, who, if I put notation in front of him, like even a crazy musical piece, he could play it like nobody's business, just absolutely just rip through it. But then if I took the music away from him and told him, okay, now give me a C note, he didn't know what I was talking about. He understood that the notes that were on the paper meant this particular spot on the neck.
Oh,
but he didn't understand that was this note or anything of that nature. So it was an interesting situation working with him.
Okay, let's speed it up to today. You mentioned that you have a band. What kind of band is it, and where can we come see that band?
I'm doing the contemporary jazz thing, and I have a full band with John Cole, Rashard Radford, Chris Harris, Maurice Itzen, Akeem Finch, Mario Pierce.
Oh, wait a minute. I know these guys. Yes, yeah. What's the name of the band?
It's just E Pruitt.
E Pruitt.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some places that you've sang around here and outside of here.
Around here, we've got a few shows coming up. We're going to be doing one at the Edmonds Opera House in September.
Okay.
We're working on a date at Bake's Place.
Bake's Place in Bellevue. That's famous.
We're trying to work out getting the CD release party at the Triple Door in Seattle, if possible. We're working on it. We'll see what happens.
Hey, I just seen this R&B tribute band called Kalimba.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
They just did the Triple Door.
Yeah. It's a nice spot. It's a really, really nice spot. So we're working on seeing about getting that done there. We've played we've done, the Bite of Seattle, Taste of Tacoma shows. We've also done, there was a place in Tacoma called Giuseppe's.
Okay.
We played there a few times, but what has happened is there's just not very many places for smooth jazz R&B to play.
Right.
You're either a cover band that's in the casinos, or you're a rock band that's playing, some of the clubs and things like that. For what I don't even think there's a jazz station anymore.
Right.
I mean, when I moved here, there was.
Oh yeah.
But now I don't think there is one anymore. So it's a bit odd. I mean, I've talked to the people at the Columbia City Theater, and there are a few other spots that I'm trying to get worked out, and my agent's working on. So,
well, I can't make no promises, but I know my friend Tracy Oden, she's flying down to hang out with a tribute band that's going to be doing some Tony stuff. I think a room that might be good for you is the Royal Room. That might be good.
The Royal Room would be great if they'd call me back.
Oh, okay. Hey, my cousin Tish does a lot of tribute stuff in the Royal Room, so I could talk to her. But hey, I want to encourage you to move forward in what you're doing. People are going to listen to this, and they're going to know you, and they're going to know me. And I believe some doors are going to open. Let's talk about this. How did the pandemic move you forward, and how did the pandemic affect your music and your artistry?
Well, to be honest, it was actually a good thing. It wasn't good, in the larger spectrum, but for me, it actually worked out really well. I had a student actually at the time who's a professional writer, author, and she has quite a few books out. And we challenged each other she was going to write another chapter for a book if I was able to write another song.
Wow.
And we were going to do that, make sure we did something every couple weeks. Every couple weeks we were going to have something together. So being locked down, it just made me get into the studio more, to sit down and actually play more. And I started listening to a lot of different music that I don't normally listen to, which also gives you some new ideas on how to approach things, like different rhythms that you never thought of, things like that. My current album, Bass Graffiti, already has 3 songs out. Actually, 2 of them are on the smooth jazz charts right now, and the third one will be released on August 1st. And each one of them have a little bit of a different feel to it. And I have another one that I'm going to be working up with Scott Ambush, who's the bass player for Spyro Gyra. He and I are going to be working on a tune together. It's kind of an African feel, rhythmic feel to it. So that'll be later on this year as well.
Okay, man, this is interesting because it's funny that you say that the pandemic advanced you. I'm a church boy. I grew up in church. My best friend, Chris Milton, he's a bishop in the Church of God in Christ. He said during the pandemic, they couldn't have church. He said people start giving so much money online, and they had Sunday school online, and then he would teach online for the Sunday service. They raised so much money, bro, that they were able to renovate the inside of the church, like the pulpit area. So when the people came back, it was all new. I could not believe that he's saying that he made so much money because people were able to give more for some reason.
Yeah, and, well, it locked you down. You don't have to drive everywhere,
right,
all the time. You made do with what you had, and it made people rethink, change the way they thought, change the way they did things. So that definitely helps out. I know, unfortunately, there were quite a few churches that weren't able to make it.
Yes.
which is bad. As a matter of fact, my brother, who's a former minister, he and I talked about it, and he's like, yeah, there's a lot of churches that didn't make it. If you go to Kansas City, just about every other block has a church on it.
Wow.
And then when I went back here back in September, a lot of them were gone. And he and I were having lunch one day and asked him about it. He said, yeah, a lot of them just weren't able to make it over the pandemic situation.
Yeah, partly of it was they weren't buying the building, and the other part, the expenses. One of my friends I grew up with, she has a position in church, and she was just saying that because her sister's married to the pastor, and she was saying that the bills to actually run the church can outdo the mortgage or the rent payment.
Yeah, and it's not easy. It's not easy for churches. It's not easy for individuals as well. But if you put in your tithes and work on it, it pays off.
Oh, you church, you said tithe.
and I mean, because it's all a community situation, isn't it?
Okay,
I mean, it's supposed to be a family situation, right? It takes a village, right?
Right.
So, heck, next door to my house when I was a kid was Salem Baptist Church.
Hey,
they started at 6 a.m. And who's that comedian, Gary? He said they'd be there until like 10 o'clock at night, and they would. Gary Owen. If you get a chance to see Gary Owen's stand up about going to church with his wife's church,
right?
The first time I saw that, I laughed so hard because I remember that. I remember seeing Mr. Freeman was the church. Basically took care of the church, and I remember seeing him walking to the church at 6 a.m. to get it open, and they would be there until 10:30 at night.
Wow,
doing something.
Well, music was playing. Okay, Daniel, how many minutes do we got left? All right, we got 7 minutes left. We can cover a lot of ground. So let's speed it up to today. What are your plans for the future for E Pruitt, music wise?
Music wise, the new I have a company I'm working with called Music Bead. Okay, Music Bead gives out these little, or you can get these little cards. I'll show you one.
Oh, nice. Music beads and tap to play music.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So
how does it work?
It's the entire CD. It's the entire CD on the card. Okay. So you just take that and tap it to your phone, and it will download the entire album onto your phone.
Oh, you just tap this card.
Yeah.
Use my other hand. Just tap the card and it goes straight to my phone. Can I tap my?
You might be able to do it. I don't know if anybody's done it before.
So I tap it to my phone.
Tap it to your phone, and the entire album shows up on your phone. And then as I add more music to it, it will update onto your phone.
Oh, okay? This is hot.
I believe right now there are 10 songs off of the Bass Graffiti album, and I'm going to add another one here on July 1st. So the full album, and I mean album, like 33, like old school Ohio players.
Ohio players.
We're going to have a full album. That's what we're putting out as a full, vinyl album at the end of the year. And right now, what we're doing is we're laying the groundwork for doing more shows and tours next year. Right now, it's a little bit late to get everything done, but the way everything is working out right now, I think the first song that came out in January called Steamy Nights, that one hit like number 55 on the Smooth Jazz charts.
Okay.
The next one, which is called What Do You Say, with an artist, co-artist named Rick Habana. That one is like number 40 right now.
Hey,
Jazz. So it's just continuing on. The next song is called Good Day. It is a reworking of a Peter White song.
Oh, Peter White.
And Peter White's up there on the food
That's
channel.
Right. That's
so
right.
we just took his song and made it a little bit more funky. That's
all. Wow. This is a 7-string bass.
Yes, it is.
Okay, now how do you move these cards? How can people donate to get a card?
You can actually go to Music Bead, and there's the artist page, and I'm on the artist page, and you can go ahead and order your card from there, or buy directly off of that part of the page. You can go to my website, epruittbassist.com, and I have one music page where you can just download all the music that's on there right now for free. And then as things progress, there'll be more stuff out.
Oh man, this is hot. Now, do I get to keep this?
Of course you do.
Oh, okay. We're going to be promoting you all month long. E Pruitt has a tap for play music beat card that you have to have in your artistry. Now let's talk about this. Things went from 45s to LPs to cassettes to 8-tracks to CDs. Now we have the cards. Mm-hmm. How are you able to get your fan base to move with you to the card?
Most of these things now, I mean, I met this company at the NAMM show.
NAMM!
Yeah, back in January. I met them there and I was like, man, this is cool looking. And it looks so good because you can design it the whatever way you want. That is just one particular design of the album cover. I have another one that is the same thing, but a different cover, which is the actual album cover itself.
Right.
So you can design it any way you want. And then as more artists get on and understand, it's easier for them to go ahead and promote their own music, because giving away or selling something like this is more personal.
Yes.
It's more personal.
Yes.
You can, after you tap it on your phone, you can actually go in there, you can read a bio, you can buy merchandise, buy some t-shirts, you can buy hats, whatever the person sets up. So it's pretty easy, but music is moving forward. And a friend of mine has a record store in Edmonds, and vinyl's coming back.
Vinyl's coming back.
Vinyl's coming back. I seen a record player the other day that the needle actually went, instead of flipping the record over, the needle flipped over. Yeah. So the album's playing, and then when it ran out to the end, it would come around and just play it from the backside. So you don't have to flip the album. But vinyl's coming back. It's pretty interesting.
Are you gonna do vinyl?
Yeah, the album coming out will be vinyl. Absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, we got to bring you back with some of your band members.
Love to.
We could pack this place out and just know more about E Pruitt. So before we get out of here, what are your aspirations outside of the Pacific Northwest?
What it is that I spoke with some of the agencies about. What I'm doing is a little bit different. Since I play 7-string bass, I'm not trying to sound like so many of the other solo bassists out there right now. I'm trying to mix the bass stuff with, George Benson-y, Norman Brown type guitar parts and things like that. So I'm going a little bit different direction. All I want to do is just play music and try to leave this world a little bit better than it was when I got here.
Now, you said George Benson,
Norman Brown.
Mm-hmm. Those are guitar players.
Right. So when I do a couple George Benson songs with my 7-string bass.
The 7-string bass.
I do some Norman Brown with the 7-string bass.
Oh, wow.
But then since it is a bass, I can do all the other stuff as well, like the Marcus Miller type stuff, so the funk type side. So if I want to slap something and get a nice funky line going, I can do that. If I want to play a melody, a nice, harmony, I can do that as well.
Wow, it's been nice having you on this fast 30-minute track. We got to bring you back with somebody and some people from your band. We'll do it again. Thank you for coming and listening to me. And I'm so glad I heard you in the airport. I can't wait to tell all my friends on Facebook that I actually interviewed you from the airport at Rainier Avenue Radio Studios. This is BK International Talent Scout, E Pruitt bassist, and he is a smooth jazz artist. Pick up his tap card from Music Beats, and we're going to see everybody next week.
Thank you, Seattle, for checking out the show with BK Presents on Rainier Avenue Radio. It's been our pleasure. But listen, we want to connect with you. Maybe you have some takeaways from the show that you would like to let us know about. You can do that in 2 ways. You can go on Twitter and follow us at BK Presents, or email us bkpresents@gmail.com. Once again, that's bkpresents@gmail.com. Until next time, we look forward to hearing from you again on BK Presents. This is Marquise Franklin, the producer of BK Presents, and that is our time for today. We want to say thank you for listening to the show, and if you'd like to hear the entirety of this episode and more, visit bkpresents.com. Also subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Google Play. BK Presents, promoting the good news in contemporary fashion.